So Monday morning is just a few hours away, and what is going to be happening in the next week could be a big deal. There's a lot going on this week that could move markets for both Tesla as well as for the general market. So if you're a player and you're getting in and out, this should be an exciting week. If you're just a watcher, maybe you're a long-term investor, but you love to watch what's going on in the markets, this is one of those weeks where you're going to want to be paying a lot of attention. This is Randy Kirk. If this kind of content is useful to you, every Sunday night we do this where we talk about what's going to happen in the coming week. If you like this show, please let me know by saying like down there right now. It just takes a second. That also helps the algorithm. It also helps if you hit subscribe and notify. But if you hit notify, when you get notified, please go to the video and watch it, because that's also another algorithmic issue. And then finally, join my Patreon. We had quite a nice number of people joining Patreon last week. It really helps to support the show. It's only $5. If you can't afford the $5, don't do it. But if $5 is easy for you, I would really appreciate the help if this content is helpful. All right, let's talk about what's going to be happening this week. First, let's start with Tesla. Number one, Elon will be in China. Who knows? It's going to make news. No matter what he does, I'm sure there's going to be news coming out of that. And now, some of the news has already been made. We'll talk about that in a second, because we do have news in China. But what's he going over there for? What's he going to announce while he's there? What kind of things could be going on that we would all be interested in knowing about? So be watching what comes out of this trip. Number two, we will be heading towards earnings week. That will be on the 19th. So as of tomorrow morning, we'll be just 10 days away. I, of course, am predicting that the earnings will be higher than the street's estimates. The average street estimate, I think, is 86. The high is $1.06, and my number is $1.08. The low, I think, is 65 cents. I've got a video coming out on Tuesday morning that you may want to watch where I get to my $1.08. I don't think it's that hard to get to the $1.08, but a lot of things have to happen to get there, which none of us know. We don't know what the margins are going to be. We don't know what the average cost of sale for the cars was in this quarter. We don't know how much of the energy storage business is going to be able to be counted in this quarter. So a lot of stuff that's way, way up in the air. I would be perfectly happy with 86 or 65. Maybe you would be too. Yes, it could mean the market. It could mean some lowered stock prices for Tesla in the short term, maybe even going back down in the 150, 165 area. I don't think that that's going to happen, but it's possible. That's maybe the low if there's a big miss like $1.65. Okay, so that's earnings week coming up in a full week. I would anticipate some motion as people try to anticipate what that's going to be. Not really sure. Who knows which way that motion might go, up or down, as we get closer and closer to the 19th. I got a bunch of questions for that day, and I'll be putting those questions out later this week. Okay, then, so anyway, watch the video on Tuesday morning to get the details of how I came to my number. Okay, then we have another video I just want to tell you about real quick. Tomorrow morning, I'm doing another Optimus video, and this one's going to be a ton of fun, and I'd love to know what you think about it, because I think it's more proof that Optimus is really going to be probably have a reveal by the end of this year and start taking orders, and then actually start shipping orders to companies in the new year, in 2024. I think I've got more proof in this video where I talk about the training and then the sales and then the care, the aftercare of Optimus as they go out into the world on their own. So anyway, watch that video tomorrow morning. Okay, the next piece of news, which would be the really good news that might stimulate the market tomorrow, but probably won't, is because it's about energy storage, and that's boring. Shanghai, of course, they made the announcement that they're opening another 40 gigawatt factory in Shanghai. My guess would be, as it's Shanghai, probably production starts in 6 to 9 months maximum. Don't know how fast they'll ramp that one, because so far we don't 100% know how fast they're ramping Lathrop. That might be information that we get on the 19th, or we may be sitting around for another month waiting for that information. I do have it on a good understanding that this is the week where Bradford Ferguson will announce how many battery mega packs he saw leaving the Lathrop facility when he spent his 5 days there. So look forward to that information coming up. It's going to be on, I think, Dylan Loomis channel first, and then I think I'm going to get to talk to him second. So watch for that. Okay. So the Megapack factory in Shanghai should be massive news because it's the equivalent of saying that they're opening a brand new factory, let's say in Indonesia. It is the equivalent of 250,000 Model Ys. It's the equivalent of maybe 300,000 Model 3s. So it's a massive, massive piece of news. And in terms of profit, it might be even more. It might be 350,000 Model 3s is what they just announced on Friday. I think it was that they made the announcement. Should it move the market? Of course it should. If they announced a new factory in Indonesia, on Monday, do you think that would move the market? Probably. No, I know the Mexico market, the Mexico announcement didn't move the market, but why do you think that was? Well, because there was such a leak going into the Mexico announcement. So anyway, and there was so much else going on in terms of all of Master Plan 3 and everything else that was being talked about. So yeah, I think that this should move markets, but it won't. That's my estimation. What might move the market tomorrow would be the other piece of news, which was the price cuts from last week. So what we saw is Elon continuing to play with the prices. If you want to take a look at a video that I did yesterday, there's a very good video that got a lot of interest on why I think the prices were cut, what I think that means, and how it portends for the future. Came up with a new theory with regard to how AI is probably being used as part of the way that they are learning how to do these price cuts and price increases based on all kinds of factors that might be difficult to do in normal kinds of computer methods of getting to those numbers. And also that it would be a learning process as they cut the numbers and then put the results back into the system. Then the learning would take over and be teaching the system better in the future how to make price decisions. So anyway, huge idea. Look at that video from yesterday if you'd like to learn more. I'll put a link to that in the information below if I remember. Okay, now, so price cuts could hurt on Monday because the market will say, oh, they don't have enough demand, and then so the price will go down. We'll see. The market is trending up as of tonight in the pre-market. Will the market carry Tesla? Somebody asked me, what do I think Tesla will do between now and the 19th? I said, I think it'll go with the macro, unless there's major news, like something that Elon does while he's in China, something else that we're just not expecting. Other price cuts or price raises that might be more substantial than those that took place on Friday, that mostly affected the SNX in terms of any size. They were like $10,000 each as opposed to like $1,000 for the Model Y. Anyway, I've also done a big video, if you didn't watch it last week, in terms of why I think these price decreases might not have a big impact on margins. I think the margins are still going to be around 23%. We'll see on the 19th. Okay, let's talk about the macro. All right, the inversion problem continues. It's like I thought it was starting to shrink and now it's not. So last week we saw the 2-year and the 2-month not shrinking compared to the 10-year. The margin between them is still 100 to 150 basis points. This is not good for the dollar. This is not good for short-term things like auto, interest rates, credit card interest rates. There's a lot of concern about the auto folks getting in over their head with automobiles because they're paying 9, 10, 11, 12% interest rates. And then maybe those autos won't be worth as much next year as they were this year. And this could cause a crisis like 2008 with regard to cars, like we had with housing. I don't think so. It's just my personal opinion. There's also an issue with regard to commercial real estate where there continues to be a drag in terms of office space not being filled, and some of those buildings might be losing value, and this could cause those individuals to, as they renew their mortgages or have to renegotiate with their banks, they might end up, the banks might end up with some trouble there in terms of their assets. That's another problem. Someone suggested that there's been more outflows from the small banks. I couldn't find any information on that. If you know information, please put it in the comments below. And by the way, you know I love comments. Comment on any of this. I want to hear what you think about all of it. So I'm not seeing that there's information about outflows continuing. I had heard the middle of last week that they had measured off, that the outflows were not continuing. So I'm not sure if that's true or not. So there's a bunch of stuff. Elon even tweeted something about the banks continuing. He believes that there's still trouble for the banks ahead. There might be, but right now, my sense, reading it all, looking at it all, trying to be neutral, I think, of course, as an optimist, I'm sorry, but always take that into consideration. Right now, I think the economy is pretty strong. I think the banks are stronger than we think. I think one article I read said that every other aspect of the commercial real estate market is strong. So the fact that office space is a little weak is not enough to throw off the entire commercial real estate problem. Therefore, the banks that are holding commercial real estate paper are not going to be in trouble. Anyway, so that's just kind of a rough, quick analysis of those kinds of things. I continue to think the economy is doing okay, that some areas are not, like construction and whatnot, but we'll see what happens with construction going into the next 2 or 3 months. If you want to see what's happening really quickly, take a look on a day-to-day basis with Home Depot stock. All right. What is the stuff that's going to come out this week? This week, we have big stuff. That's why I said this is going to be a crazy week, because on Wednesday, we've got the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. Hope it's 4 or less. It might be 4 or less. We can hope it's 4 or less. I'll be reporting on that after it comes out. And I will also take a look at the real inflation numbers that we've looked at before to make some comparisons. So CPI on Wednesday, if it's over 4, but close to 4, the market probably goes nowhere. If it's a lot higher, if it's anywhere over 5, oh my gosh. And then if it's significantly under 4, that could really be good. All right. PPI on Thursday, of course, that's the producer price index. That is a precursor to consumers, obviously. What the producers are paying now, up or down, is going to determine up or down on consumer pricing later. So producer price index has been pretty good. So I would, again, hope that this is well under 4, preferably under 3. If it starts hitting around 2% or less, that could really be good news. Retail sales come out on Friday. Same thing. Good news is bad news. Bad news is good news. If retail sales are down, typically that would say, oh, good, the Fed's working. That would be good. We wouldn't have these continued increases in interest rates in the future, and therefore the market would be happy and go up or not. It's because lately the market seems to be a little more scared that we're going into a recession. So then if the retail sales are down on Friday, that could be, oh shoot, we're going into a recession. I don't know how to think right now about what the effect retail sales might have. Wholesale inventories on Monday, I would expect those to be continuing down. That would not be good in terms of the Fed. The Fed wants those to go up in order to prove that things are slowing down. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, comment below and I'll make more sense of it on Wednesday. Consumer confidence comes out on Friday. That's kind of like retail sales. If consumer confidence begins to go up, theoretically in normal times, you'd say, yay, and the stock market would be bullish. But in these times, who knows what the stock market will think about consumer confidence being good? The Fed might think, oh, we haven't killed the economy yet. We need to keep trying. And then business optimism index comes out on Monday. That also, same thing, same idea. Don't have to repeat 3 different times. All right, looking out this week, as usual, I would say I would love to see oil drop. That would be something that would be good no matter what. Oil coming down is good. Oil has been flat since it went to 80 last week. It's been almost 100% flat. Very unusual to see it so flat. I'd love to see it drop back down into the 70s. That would be good for everybody. Be good for the Fed, be good for the economy, be good for you and me and when we go to the grocery store. So many different ways. The bonds, the 10-year is so low. It popped up a little over the weekend to 3.4. It was 3.3 on Friday. That's so low. I think it's a flight to strength, a flight to safety, rather, a flight to safety with a potential for a bump when interest rates come down in the future. And you've got 10 years for those interest rates to come down. So I think that's what's happening with the 10-year. Again, the 2-year and the 2-month, crazy high. I don't know what'll bring them down. I don't understand it well enough. Maybe you can explain in the comments what would be something that would cause the 2-year and the 2-month to start to come down, get closer, that inversion to flatten out. Is it something I believe there's things the Fed could do that could help make that happen, but what might happen in the economy or in the way that people are investing that might cause that to happen? So there you have it. There's basically how I see the week ahead. Please comment, please like, please subscribe, please hit the notify button. And most of all, please join Patreon. I could use another 4 or 5 folks joining up this week. And as usual, it's been great talking to you.